Where else do we have an opportunity, me and you, to speak? Not in many places in the world. We both know this, especially Jews and Muslims.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Imran. I'm a Muslim and I'm one of the founding board members of Center for Interfaith Understanding.
Hello, I'm Morty Miller from the Jewish faith and a member of the Jewish community of Singapore.
And of course, I'm a Muslim and you're a Jew, and there's some similarities between our faiths. But I wanted to ask you a question about your understanding, or rather the Jewish teaching on creation.
Well, actually the Bible, right? The Jewish Bible begins with creation. The first verse for any Jew opening the Bible, the holiest book, is Bereshit, in the beginning, bara Elohim, God created, et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. So God started with heaven and earth, meaning he did not begin with the creation of man. And here we're answering the question of how were we created, not only the world created, but how does mankind was created. It was created from earth. Man being created last can also say that man is quite important, because you go into a house only after all of the furniture is there. So you need first to prepare everything, and the most important being is us human beings. Obviously, it does not mean we can overlook other creatures.
In the Quran at least, it uses the language of male and female coming from the single essence. I think we can both agree that both male and female, being creations of God, occupies a wonderful place in the whole schema of creation. And of course, in Islam also, there is a verse in the Quran that talks about the dignity of humans who were created. Walaqad karamna bani Adam. So the children of Adam has been endowed with dignity. And that speaks about the importance of humans to uphold that aspect of dignity, because, well, to use the biblical language also, that we are created in the image of God. Right. And there are certain values that humans need to uphold. And the fact that we come after the rest of the world has been created, we are not supposed to destroy it, but we are supposed to take care of it, because we are supposed to tread this earth gently and be respectful of all the other creations of God.
What is my purpose towards God, and what are my duties to my fellow friends, family, human beings, universe? The purpose of man is to fear God and to follow the Torah, the commandments of God, and to obey the commandments of God. We can learn, we can never really fully grasp the essence of what is God, but we can go closer and closer by examining ourselves, because man is created in the image of God. You should love your fellow as you love yourself. We all had our flaws or our mistakes. This is the essence, and you have to love your fellow. From any religion, you have to just love others that were created in the image of God, like you love yourself.
It reminds me of how God has the most perfected aspects of his essence, all these values, like be all loving, all compassionate, all just, all merciful. And as humans, of course, we cannot be the totality of God's essence, but we ought to emulate. If God is all compassionate, then we ought to display compassion in our daily interactions with each other, with people around us, even with the non-human world. Strive toward all the kind of values that embodies in the essence of God. And that's how I see it, as God breathing life into humans in order for us to partake in those values that is wider than us. Islam means submission. And of course, it comes from the root word salam, which means peace. And that submission to God is what brings peace internally to us and around us. And that submission is to walk humbly on earth. That is how we submit to God.
When you were saying salam, right?
Yes.
Salam, and Islam and salam, and obviously we know the Hebrew word shalom.
Shalom, yes.
So shalom obviously is also peace, but it has another meaning. But first of all, according to Jewish tradition, it's one of the names of God. So we have 10 different attributes of God. They're divided to many divisions, but one of the main divisions is the right side that has to do with being merciful and giving. And then the left side has to do with withdrawing. And then the middle side is the pole of shalom, of harmony. Not to give and give and give too much, because sometimes you have to learn how to practice the left side of life, because God also has that aspect. And then trying to bring the whole world into balance, into harmony.
The moderation that you talk about is a well-pronounced concept in Islam, which we call wasatiyah. It's the middle path, the balance. Sometimes people think that the middle way, it's kind of wishy-washy, compromise, but it's not actually. Right. In the Muslim tradition, it's the position of strength. Think of the midpoint at noon where the sun is at the highest. It's a position of strength. We need to somehow learn to live with that balance.
We do believe you have to find ways to fight the evil and to fight the bad, right? And not embrace it. If there's someone that you just hate for no good reason, right? Then you help him. Don't help the other, help him. But if there's someone that's doing evil and spreading evil and harming others, then no. Sometimes helping him is not helping him. We do want to fix the world.
And that's where the struggle is. Because I do recognize, as what you have mentioned, that part of our purpose is, in life is to promote peace and goodness. Right. But we are also confronted with the problem of evil. But as humans, we are also forgetful. And that's the very nature of being human. As much as we can talk about all the lofty ideals, but sometimes in our lives, we also fall short. And that reminder that we ought to behave in a good way, to display these values, can come from anyone. Because I personally believe these values are universal. They are what is meant for all of humans, and humans need to connect with these values. And that speaks about the most important principle, at least for me, is the fact that God has created the world with diversity. I think it's fundamentally wrong for anyone to eliminate this diversity and treat people who are different from them as their enemies, as you mentioned. I don't think that is the purpose of creation. Purpose of creation, given the diversity, is actually to know each other, to create understanding, and to pursue the common good for all. It's the flourishing of life, I think, that is embedded in the fact of creation.
What is my value here? What is my added value? To use everything God gave us, granted us, and maximize this. We need to challenge ourselves, study. We're lucky to have hands. Use the hands in a way that's gonna do good to the world, and so on and so on. Where I come from, we didn't have so many religions. Living here is the first time that I'm encountering so many religions. And I have an opportunity. Where else do we have an opportunity, me and you, to speak? Not in many places in the world. We both know this, especially Jews and Muslims. This is special. This is special to me. And I think that this strengthens my Judaism. And I hope it strengthens your Islam.
So a Jewish person, a Muslim, we can sit down and have deep conversations about the meaning of life, the purpose of life. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a note, and hopefully we can continue learning from each other. Thank you.